Hello everyone and welcome back to another Minecraft video. Today we have another tutorial for you, and this time we're going to change things up and we're going to build a fantasy style witch hut. Now this design was inspired by a picture I saw on Reddit a few months ago from a user called Levi Poppy. I believe that's how you say the name. I will leave a link in the description for that if you want to check out the original post. But I've taken the concept of a little bit of the design from that to build this little witch hut for you in today's video. So you will see on your screen the materials that you will need to build this little witch hut, and I do hope you enjoy the video, so sit back, relax, and let's get started. Alright guys, so the first thing we want to do is check the layout of this. So if I take a fly up here, I will stop above it so you can take a screenshot if you want to get the exact dimensions of this. If we fly down, we'll see it's a pretty basic and normal circle. We have 5 on the main wall, then 2, then a single one, then it turns, and then 2, and then another 5, and that just repeats all the way around to create a circle. Now what we want to do is take some regular stone, and we want to build up each of these walls up by 3, so just like that, and we want to do this all the way around the whole entire circle. So we have each of them up by 3 like this. Now that we have each of the walls 3 high, we want to come to these middle sections, the 5 wide, and want to actually bring this up to 4, and then do the 3 middle ones so it looks like this. We want to do that on each of the sides so they're all the same and the middle sections, leaving the ones in between at 3 high as they will be covered up by the roof. So we take our stone slab, and just at the edge here we want to place it right there on the top of this block, and you guessed it, we're going to do the same on all of the sides, just like this. Then we want to take our spruce planks, we do one there, same on this side, a temporary block with a single one in front, like so. Then at the top, another temporary block, and then we come along by 3, so we get this nice circular shape for a roof. And once again, we do this on all of the sides, so they are all the same. For the sections in between, we want a spruce plank. One goes there, one goes there. Then we take a slab and put it on the top one, so it is just a little more of an archway, the same as these ones. So again, we do that all the way around. The good thing about this base or this house is that it is mostly symmetrical in terms of the structure. Once we get to the roof design, that's when we start to mess up the symmetry a little bit. But that should be your base of the roof now in place, so we can move on to the actual roof itself. Okay, taking your green terracotta, which will be the main building block here, we want to come to one of the edges, and we're going to go up by 2, just like that, on top of the stone. 2, 2, 2, and 2, just like that. The easiest way I find to do roofs that are circular, that kind of taper into a point, is just to actually work on all of the sides at the same time. So instead of going up all the way on one and then come into the other, just kind of go around and all at the same time just build up each section as you go, and it kind of keeps you right and stops you from making as many mistakes in terms of where blocks go and things. But yeah, once we got that in place, we want to come here and we want to bring that one up so it is just behind the spruce wood, and once again like this. And don't worry about the blocks on the insides if you're placing temporary blocks, and we're going to cover that up with the interior, so as long as it looks the same from the outside, and it should look like this. Once again, like I was saying, just go around and do that on each of the sides so they're all the same. Okay, coming back to your edge now and your corner, we want to place some temporary blocks just so we can get a diagonal line like so. So it's one block back from the ones we placed down the bottom. And once again, as always, we go around and we do the same on all of the sides. Like I said, you can break away the temporary blocks if you want, but we will be covering it, or I will be covering it in my interior, so it's nothing to worry about. Okay, things start to get a little bit more awkward at this stage. What we want to do first is, say if you go to the front of your base and come right behind this one, and we want to place blocks like this, so it is sticking out the back, then along the top like so, and do that for each of the sides, as the middle ones are going to be a little bit different. Now that you've got those in place, the ones in the middle here are actually going to go up by 2, so they're going to look like this. So that goes for each of the 3 you should have in the centre, so it should look like this. And once again, I like to go around and fill in all of them on each of the sides. So up by 2, up by 2, up by 2, and 2, and the last one. Something like that. Okay, so next up we come to the front again, and we want to add little side ones to cover up that hole. We want to actually place a block on top of these this time, not a temporary block, a block we are actually using, and then connect them up. So you should have this going around this shape, and once again we do it on each of the sides like so. Then we come to the middle, in between these ones we've just placed, and these ones go up just by 1, like this, and like that. So you see now we're starting to get a little bit more shape to the roof as it tapers in more and more. Now we want to take this centre one, bring it up by 1, like this. Then we join up with a line all the way along on each of the sides, like this. So if we take it with these temporary blocks so you can see easier the shape that we have. So we just have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a single one, 5, single one, 5, single one, and 5 all the way around. Now we want to fill in these blocks like this and bring it all the way around just to make a square with the corners missing. Like that. Then on top of this square we actually want to place the middle 3 blocks. So we start to add a little bit more verticality to the structure. We fill in this block but going up by 2 in the corner. Then we join them all up like this, and here, and here. So we want to get this nice curve at the bottom, but then tapers up like so, in the middle, like that, if you can see that. Next up we come to the top and we place the middle blocks in, just like this again, missing out the corners this time. And you will really start to get a feel for how to do these kinds of roofs once you are doing this. There's a lot of repetitive steps and things to follow. Alright, so once we get to this point, we are now going to add in the actual shape so it looks a bit like a kind of witch's or wizard's hat. So what I like to do here is probably just fill in the top section so you can work a little bit easier. We like to then take it into maybe go up by 3 and then 2 in the middle one, like that. And then you can do the same on the back side. Then we want to come into this centre and bring that up to there and actually come down a block and meet that up and level with this one. Do the same on this side and the same again here. So you have this kind of shape, and don't worry, we will shape that out a little bit better in a moment. Then we want 3 blocks in the centre like so. 2 there. then 3 like that, 2 on top of that one, 1 there, coming out by 2, 1 on top of that, 1 below, then out, down by 2, then a temporary block, another block, break that one, and that is our shape there at the top. But you need to come into this side here and add a few blocks to fill this one out. So we come out by 1 here and bring that all the way down till it meets where the hat is. Then again here, bring that all the way up until there is 2 blocks left like so. And then once more, 1, 2 and 3 like that, and that gives a nicer shape to this side. Again here at this side below this one, we do another 2 like that, and it just fills that out a little bit better. And finally, 2 more blocks there, even put 1 there, and that is the main shape curving up like so. And if you wanted, you could come in and add maybe a block there just to kind of fill that out a little bit more. But that is essentially the shape done and ready to go. We just need to texture it and detail it. So in order to do the texture on this, first of all, we want to take some green concrete and some green wool, and there's pretty much no real science to this, but we want to just come in and change out a lot of the blocks for these other colours and textures, and just to give a more realistic feel, like so. And then we would come in with our wool, and like I said, there's no real method to this other than try and keep them maybe spaced out so they're not all clumped together, and just kind of play around with it until you get the right balance of colours, something like that. So we're going to do that all the way around, and I'll be back in a moment. Okay, I'm pretty happy with this. As you can see, the amount of texturing we've done using the wool and the concrete blocks just to break up the green and make it look a little bit more natural, and yeah, a little bit more variety to it. So the next thing we want to do is pretty much the same thing with all the walls. So I'm going to use some cobblestone, some andesite, and also throw in some mossy cobblestone just to texture up these walls. So again, we just do the same kind of process down here as we followed above. Nothing too scientific with how we place these blocks or where they're going, but I would try and keep the cobblestone nearer the bottom, then blending the andesite up higher, just like so, and this gives a nicer kind of texture look that the bottom is more weathered than the top as it's going closer to the ground, just like that. So I'm going to do that all the way around, and yeah, we'll jump back in a moment. Okay, texturing complete, and like I said, the cobblestone is more so than the bottom. The same with the mossy cobble, as all the moisture and things would be rising up from the ground. So now we can punch out a hole for our door, so whatever side you want to be your front, I'm going to be this way, and it's kind of in line with the way that this curves around, so just like that. So once you've punched out your hole for your door, I'd replace the top one with a stone stair, or if this is maybe cobblestone, then you might want to use a cobblestone stair. Then I would take a slab, a spruce slab like that. I would put some spruce stairs like either side like so, and then surround that by fences, and it makes a nice little doorway. Then coming to the right hand side, I would put a window, and instead of using glass, I think I'm going to go for trapdoors here, as it adds more of a rustic kind of look without having, you know, something like glass in, just having the wood. And you could also do the same trick with the stairs above here, just to give that window a little bit more shape, like this. For the left hand side, instead of a window, we're going to actually put in a chimney, and what we're going to use for this is Blackstone. So I've got the regular Blackstone and polished Blackstone bricks, all the variants of those, as you can see in my hotbar. We want to take this out first of all, just do 3 wide like that, and follow this all the way up till we get to the spruce roof, and we can even delete that and add in the Blackstone in its place. We want to come out another one, or another 3 I should say, at the bottom, then bring this centre section up to around level with the spruce. Add one more on either side like so, and that gives a nice chimney shape that we'll detail out more with some of the other blocks in a moment. But now coming up to the top, we want to take this centre one and go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then really this is up to you and your creativity, but I like to make my chimneys, especially for a building like this, a little bit off and not completely straight. So I bring it up a couple like that and maybe come out to the side. Something like that. Doesn't need to be perfect, but that kind of general shape as it twists and changes direction. We can then come in here and replace some of the corner ones with stairs and add in a wall or two underneath, just to give a little bit more of a structural shape to it, like that. Now we could take our Blackstone bricks and replace quite a lot of these with that, just to add in the texture as we've been doing all around. Okay, so once you've got something that looks like that, really the only thing we've got to do is, down at the bottom, add in some stairs, some more walls and some slabs, just to add in some more shape. Something like that. Again, it makes it look nicer probably with having it be a little bit messy. So yeah, you can kind of go a little bit crazy just with your own creativity here, but something like that where it's a little bit messy and all over the place, like the bricks have kind of broken away over time. So yeah, that is your chimney pretty much done. All we need now is a campfire on top and surrounded by spruce trapdoors, just like that. Now you may be thinking it looks a little bit too perfect and pristine, and you would be right. So we do need to add in some slabs and stairs around the base. So if you just come in and again just place slabs around like this, just to give that little bit more of a structural shape to it. And I'm just using andesite at the moment because we will come back in with some other blocks and texturize it in a moment. But just to give you a general idea of how we would go about placing these, as you can see there's no great science to it, just like that. And then like I said, come in with some of these other types of blocks and texture it up the same we did with the walls. And last but not least, we want to come back to this roof as is the main structure of this build, and we do want to add a little bit more life and a little bit more character to it. So what I've got here is some grass blocks, some grass and some leaves. So you know what's coming next. We will be replacing some of these blocks with grass. Now not too many, I wouldn't go too crazy with this as I think it will end up ruining it if it's just a big dirt roof, but some scattered here and there like this. And then what we can do is put some grass. Now obviously if you're doing this in survival, you could just bone meal these grass blocks to get the grass, but doing something like that just adds that little bit more nature and things to it. Then we can come in and take the leaves like so. We can actually just group them all the way down onto the ground like it's overgrown and falling off. So something like this, and maybe add in a little bit more like that. Again, don't go too crazy with the leaves, as you can't overwhelm the build with too many leaves and things. But something like that, a little bit more subtle. Maybe we'll have some more hanging down over here like this, gathering at the bottom. Put one there. So I'm going to do this on the whole roof and we'll take a look at the final product. And with that, the build is pretty much complete at this point. We do need to add in one final finishing touch up here. I added in a hopper and a lantern hanging from that as a nice little effect to add a little light on the end of there. And then we can take our spruce trapdoors and just add them to the underside of all these, going all the way around. But that is pretty much all done and completed for the exterior. We do need to add in some kind of path, but this could obviously be whatever path design you have in your world. So yeah, this is really up to you, but I will use something like path blocks and coarse dirt and things. I will do an interior to this and we can take a look at that. I'll maybe not do a interior like a full base, maybe just something fun that would be in a kind of witch's hut, so like cauldrons and potions and things like that. We can take a look at the finished product, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll be with you in a minute once I've done up the interior and we can take a look at that. And we're back, and that was a fun one to design up the interior to this, as it's not obviously your typical house, it is more of a fantasy witch theme we're going for. So as you can see, added in the path and we come through the front door and we have all sorts going on. So a lot of witch huts I've seen online were kind of jam-packed full of stuff, so try to recreate that here. I've just got random storage over this way and little hanging flower pots and all things, herbs and things that will be used for all the potion brewing and things. We have our cauldrons being boiled, hanging from the ceiling. I like this little touch. Obviously access to our fireplace with some chairs here. A table over here with other things all over. Again, more like mushrooms and things for the potions brewing and that kind of thing. So yeah, turned out pretty cool. I like it. I've actually added in some ender chests under the floor here as well, as kind of magical particles that they give off, so that works well as a nice little detail as well. So yeah, pretty happy with that, and I think that is it pretty much done. Well guys, that is going to do it for today. As always, I do hope that you enjoyed, and if you did, it would be very much appreciated if you could leave a like down below the video and consider subscribing to the channel if you're not already. That would really help me out and really very much appreciated. So yeah, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, and yeah, until next time, bye bye.